Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Simulations Podcast. I am your host with the most, and today we will talk about the vestigial organs of society, which are the environmental protesters. These are the low IQ, dumb fucking jobless losers who have been, I guess, paid a little bit of money by some NGOs which are funded by some corrupt ass piece of shit to go to the streets and pretend to care about the well-being of the general populations. Yes, I am talking about the environmental protesters, the sustainability promoters, and we will talk about why these people are losers, because recently in Diwali, during Diwali, the festival season, these motherfuckers come out of the woodworks pretending to give a fuck about the quality of the air you breathe, pretending to give a fuck about the quality of life you have. But in reality, because these guys are usually low IQ arts graduates who have no jobs, no real life skills to go and make a living for themselves, they hoard themselves out. They slut themselves out for piece of shit corrupt people to push their agenda through these type of pointless protesting. And the reason why I'm so hard on these losers is because the real reason why pollution happens, the real reason why the atmosphere is fucked up, the real reason why the planet is dying, the oceans are getting polluted, and the soil has a lot of chemicals in it, there is microplastic in water, forever chemicals in your food and vegetables, the produce that you get in supermarkets have less and less amount of nutrients as we speak. These are the people who do not say anything about them. And the things that they protest against, like Diwali and firecrackers and private cars and whatnot, these things are not going to solve these big problems. You know what I mean? Like, stopping, if you don't burst firecrackers for a year's Diwali, or try to be a good Samaritan and take a public transport instead of a private one, it's not going to change anything. You know, there still will be microplastic in water. There still will be, like, the food that you eat will be not rich in nutrients as it were 20 years ago. The soil will be polluted, the landfills will be full, the ocean will be used as a dumping ground to just throw away all kinds of industrial waste without any mercy. The fish will die. The fish that you eat actually will have lead, sulfur, and all kinds of dangerous chemicals. So nothing is gonna change. So why the fuck are these low IQ pussies on the street pretending to give a fuck? I will never understand it. Because the real reason, I'm gonna tell you guys the real reasons why the environment is fucked up. The first is the lobbying of the coal billionaires. Now, if you don't know what the fuck that is, it's like there are a lot of thermal power plants across the world, right? They take coal, they burn coal, and the heat generated runs the turbine. I mean, it rotates the turbine, which generates electricity, which is then transmitted to across the world. And these companies that run these thermal power plant factories, they make sure that renewable sources of energy do not become the norm. Because in countries like India and in many, many parts of the world, you can have better alternatives of renewable source of energy, not completely replacing the coal, but still a significant chunk of what it is today. For example, solar panels. A country in a temperate climate, in a tropical climate like India does have a lot of solar power potential, but we will never have it. The government will always give subsidy to these loser people who don't have jobs just to get their votes, but the government will never invest in a nuclear power plant, which can literally power an entire city. They will never do that. And the reason is these coal billionaires, they have been lobbying these things, and we will always be burning low quality coal because all of the high quality coal has been taken by the Britishers, and all of the high quality coal we have ran out of it. So the biggest reason, one of the biggest reasons, the first reason is coal billionaires, thermal power plants, making sure that renewable sources of energy stay away from the public because they need to make profits. They have already set up their supply chains and shit like that. So there's no way they're gonna let go of that advantage. And these low IQ environmentalist protesters, these spineless pussies, they're never gonna talk against them. Do you know why? Because that will be addressing a real problem. Because that will be taking real action, that will be doing something impactful, even if it is just educating people about the realities of the world that we live in. They won't do that. The second big reason why the environment and everything else is fucked up is because of planned obsolescence. Now, if you don't know what the fuck that is, planned obsolescence is something that all of these big consumer companies came up with, which is the fact that they will design products that will automatically start to malfunction 3 to 4 years down the line. Like if you buy a smartphone today, within 3 to 4 years, it will start to show signs of slowing down. Like the battery will be fucked up. The responsiveness of the sensors will deteriorate. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm fucking it up. It's just morning. I just woke up. Anyway, car companies do it too. They will create a car in which some components will go worse faster than others, so that you will have to go and buy replacement parts. It's just all done by design. Things go bad because back in the day, there used to be a time Nokia was a phone in which they will create phones that will last you a lifetime. That will literally last you a lifetime. But nowadays, that never happens. It's not like we don't have the technology to build phones that last a lifetime. It's just that it is not profitable enough for the companies. And the consequence of that is people will continually buy new phones every 2 to 3 years. And as a result of that, there will be more e-waste, more environmental damage, more pollution, all kinds of pollution, because when you are creating so many new phones, you are also putting pressure on the mineral reserves of planet Earth because you need more copper, you need better quality copper, you need silicon, you need all kinds of metals and materials, rare earth minerals to make the components of the cell phone for the planned obsolescence. And these guys, these environmental protesters who are coming out of the woodworks to protest against Diwali, these pussies, they're not going to talk about it. They are the ones who will indulge too much by buying new things every 2 to 3 years, every new piece of technology, new phone in the market, they gotta have it. But they won't go ahead and talk about planned obsolescence. They will not talk about Apple. Companies like Apple, who deliberately designed their products to be unrepairable. And they just milk their customers for money. And these motherfuckers will never talk against it. Do you know why? Because that'll be doing something useful. Sorry about that. And this is one of the primary reasons why I call these guys losers. And the third big reason that I could think of at this point, which fucks our environment, are these billionaires in private jets. I don't understand why these billionaires take private jets for literally anything. I mean, obviously there is the fact that you can, so why not? I get that part. I get the part of satisfying your ego. I get the aspect of going out and just, flaunting your wealth, flexing over all of the poor losers. I get that. If I had a private jet, I'll probably do some shit like that too, but not too much. Maybe a couple of times in a month is fine, whatever. I'll go from one country to another just to have a cup of coffee and then come back just to flex. You know what I mean? Like, I get that. But these motherfuckers do it multiple times throughout the week, which I will never understand. And this is something that these environmental protesters are too pussy to talk about. Why are they not talking about billionaires who evade taxes, who are properly lobbying the coal energy thermal power plant industry? On top of that, they're still burning more fossil fuel by taking their private jets for literally no reason at all, just to take the piss. And all of this starts to make sense when you just see that this is the propaganda of these big companies who are actually responsible for pollution. Because whenever you see these environmental protesters, you have to start thinking that they're not good people. Nobody out of the goodness out of their heart will go onto the streets, create these signs, and you protest in front of media, take pictures and put it on the social media. It's not because these people are particularly benevolent, that's why they're doing these things. It's not that. That's not the reason. It's because they are funded by an NGO, which is funded by these big billionaires, and their goal is to make common people feel guilty to just go about their life and have a little bit of fun. If you are a common person listening to this, here's what I need you to do. First, pollute as much as you can, because it's not going to make a difference. Literally. I sometimes leave shit all around. I literally litter a lot sometimes because I'm pissed. I burn a lot of firecrackers. I always prefer to buy things which have a bigger carbon footprint compared to the safe eco-friendly ones. I don't give a fuck about eco-friendly products. Fuck that shit. I will always go after the non-eco-friendly version of a product that exists. That's just me. And I want you guys to do it too, because again, like I said, the reason why the air is so polluted is because the coal thermal power plants, the thermal power plant billionaires, they make it so difficult for us to get renewable energy. There's a reason why solar panels are expensive. There's a reason why they're not properly subsidized by the government. There's a reason why we don't have solar powered farms that generate electricity for villages and small towns. We literally can have that. But there's a reason we don't, and it's because it will decrease the power of the coal billionaires who have lobbied over that entire industry. So go ahead and feel free to talk shit and disrespect these environmental protesters as much as possible, because they are a bunch of stooges. They're not doing this out of the goodness of their heart. Somebody threw some money to their jobless faces and they're like, I'll do it. And on the streets they go to, they talk about how firecrackers destroy everything. What about the fucking war economy, man? What about the war economy? The United States of America and all of the companies that produce these warheads, these weapons and missiles, they deliberately engineer geopolitical issues across the world so they will have a customer. That's literally the military industrial complex of the United States of America and the West. They instigate wars between countries and create proxy conflicts just to sell weapons and make some fucking money. Why these dumb idiots, low IQ retards, arts graduates, general line students, unskilled dumb fucks, why they're not talking about it? So don't give a fuck what the pollution specialists say. Pollute as much as possible, because it's not gonna make any difference. And this government is milking taxes from you and literally giving you no benefits. So the least you can do is litter on the streets so that they will have some staff to come and clean it up. This way you are also creating employment, which is good for the future of the nation. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.